We have with us today Franz, who is the owner of Armadillo Roofing and Exteriors. They've been in business in the Austin area for almost 20 years. Mark's a great roofer, lots of positive feedback from all of his past clients, and we've been working with him for a couple of years now. And Mark, first of all, I want to thank you for doing this interview, especially on a Saturday morning, because I know you're busy, and taking your leisure time away to do this is awesome. I really appreciate that. So
My pleasure.
I just have a few questions for you, if you don't mind. So before we started working with you a little bit a couple of years ago, what was going on with your online presence, your online lead generation, and how things have changed since we started working with you back in 2017.
Okay, thank you, Dave. It's my pleasure to be here today. Basically, in the first 15 years of my business, before I met Dave Campbell and DMC Digital Solutions, I had tried pretty much everything out there, from networks to, and you name it, any platform that just had lackluster results at best. Similarly, my website, although it had been there for a while, it just didn't have any power at all. Couldn't find me on the first 4 or 5 pages at best, even though it's an older company and an older website. So I had every marketing person in the world calling me. Some have a pretty good presence in Austin, in the community. And I constantly was contacted to engage in different programs with promises of everything you can imagine and great results, only to find out I just threw my money away. My joke with my friends is, if I had all the money that I threw away in advertising back in my hands, I'd have a new Ferrari sitting in my driveway, and almost literally.
Right.
So I had spent thousands and thousands of dollars over the years before I met Dave, and Dave impressed me with his introduction, and we started to work together. But absolutely, all the not promises, but all the predictions that Dave made with what he could do with my website and my marketing campaigns have come true. But yes, in the past, I just had horrible experiences, like a lot of other companies of mine, like roofing in general.
Right.
And
yeah, I get that all the time when I contact roofers. They just get sick and tired of. The first thing I always have to do is get past the, oh my God, here's another marketing guy contacting me again. Yeah, and I understand that.
I still to this day receive an average of 10 calls a day for something to do with marketing and advertising.
Right.
And it's just real frustrating. So, yeah, go ahead with the next question.
Okay. We just introduced this new service called database reactivation that I don't believe anybody in the roofing industry is doing at all. And I think one of the biggest mistakes that my customers make is there's a lot of income and business in their database that they just have to figure out how to get back out of. Trying to be top of mind, be that that roofing company that somebody thinks of when they need the repair. You have to constantly be in contact with your customers to do that. And we have this new system that does that. We just introduced that to you a couple of weeks ago, and it looks like so far in the first 2 weeks we've gotten you 15 opportunities with your past customers. So could you just talk a little bit about the experience with that and how that's going so far?
Well, like any service industry company that has had say 10 plus years experience with customers, they've got a list of these customers. And of course, usually it's in their computer in some form. In mine, it's QuickBooks. And so basically, I was sitting there with all these customers that I hadn't reached out to. And of course, a lot of them do call me back when they have issues, but I hadn't reached out to the ones that were happy. We fixed the roof or put a whole new roof on, and they didn't have any issues. Well, I assume they didn't have any issues because they hadn't called, but what this did is it said, hey, we're still out there. Armadillo Roofing is still out here. Is there anything we can do to help you? We'd like to, do a little checkup on your roof.
Right.
And sure enough, the several of them that have called back, out of the 15, is it now, I believe?
Yeah, we're at 15 after Friday.
Several of them have opportunities, including some of them own some rental properties. properties.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't ever think about that. So what this did is it said, hey guys, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, we're still out there, and what can we do to help you? And sure enough, on just the first few hundred that we've sent out, or Dave sent out and reached out to through his system, they've said, yeah, I need some help. So that's great.
And I think one of the things that it does is not only do they get a chance to reach out to you, but you get an opportunity to talk to them, ask for referrals. Anytime you get an opportunity to interact face to face with a customer, that's the best type of lead that you can get, because this is somebody that's already familiar with you, they trust you, you've done business with you before. So when you go on an appointment like that, it's almost not even a sales appointment. It's almost like an order appointment. I mean, the offer that we make people with the roofing industry is the free inspection to go up and check their roof after the storms or whatever, the storm season. But even if you go to a customer that has a perfectly fine roof and no business comes from it that day, it's still a valuable contact, because now you are top of mind, and now they will think of you when their relative needs a new roof or whatever. And it's just making that contact. But what I believe happens most of the time with people that say yes to the free inspection is they think that there is something wrong with their roof. And so they want somebody to go up and see if there's an issue or not. And so a lot of times it does turn into business. And if not on that roof, like you said, sometimes it's a person that has rental properties and they know they have another property that they need to have checked and that sort of thing. So it gets you out talking to your customers, creating those opportunities face to face with the people that are the easiest people to sell, basically, the people that, have done business with you in the past. And that's why we invested in this system. Is I don't think anybody that I know of in the roofing industry is doing this sort of thing. So
I don't mean to interrupt you, but I have never heard of it until Dave introduced me to it.
Yeah.
If you're in the service industry and you're in a competitive service industry like I am in Austin, Texas, roofing, it's a very competitive industry, and you have to be different. You have to separate yourself. So to win a brand new cold sale, you have to not only be competitive price-wise, but you have to be able to know what you're doing, of course, and convey that over to the customer. But on the database reactivation program, it's like a family reunion. These people know you, and they're, like Dave said, they're warm and fuzzy at this point. They remember you, and you have a 10 times greater chance of being the prevailing contractor by virtue of your previous arrangement or previous service
experience. Yeah,
and so it's a much easier sale, of course. So the value is pretty high in that regard, and yes, they remember you, but all of a sudden now you're on the front of their thoughts.
Exactly.
And they do remember, oh, yeah, my neighbor said he had some problems, or I have a rental property. So there's additional value besides their own roof. Having said that, I usually get up on a roof, and even though it's a really new roof, say under 5 years of age, there's always something going on.
Yeah, there's always something that they need help with. Yeah, flashing or minor repairs, shingles that are bad, tiles that are loose, whatever it happens to be. Yeah.
A plumber came by and replaced the water heater. Now the food vent pipe's sticking up too high.
Put up a solar panel, and that's caused problems with their roof. Yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. Right.
All kinds of stuff, absolutely. And so it's an opportunity to go ahead and make a service call fee that they're happy that you found it before damage has occurred. So, people don't always, of course, a lot of people don't get on their roofs, and so they don't ever see it. So they love to have a check, and this is that engaging, then asking for referrals, asking for a review. It's a perfect opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the other thing it does also is, it's really easy with someone like, let's say you did a roofing job, whether it was a repair or replacement, 5 or 6 years ago, or even longer, 7 or 8 years ago. I think with your database, we ended up with between 12 and 1,300 total customers.
Somewhere around there,
out to, yeah. And because you've been in business for quite some time. But it's real easy for someone like that, when they have a problem with their roof, to just jump online and go find somebody that's right there in a Google search, instead of the person who did the work 5 or 6 years ago. And
Exactly.
what this does is it gets you the opportunity to be the one, because the next time when you reach out to these people, they'll remember, oh, Armadillo Roofing and Exteriors, yeah, we need to get them up to take a look at this roof because we got a little issue here. So, yeah.
Yes, if your company name has some good name branding, and people get busy, 3-5 years have passed, and they don't always keep their paperwork handy.
Yeah.
And so even though they don't remember you, one small step like this, reaching out to them, they go, oh yeah, that's who we used.
Yeah.
So if you have a good name, they might remember you. People remember that.
You hope so, of course. That's what everybody hopes, is that their past customers will come back if you did a good job for them. But there's so much information coming at people all the time.
Yes.
Friends and relatives have roofers that they'll give them the name of, if they can't quite remember you.
Yes.
And before you know it, you lost a $15,000 roof replacement to Joe Schmo down the street because one of their relatives recommended it to them or something like that.
Exactly. Unlike a retail store where people come into their Dillard's or Macy's or something regularly, you're not that.
Yeah,
you're the service company that's sitting out there and hoping they call and hoping they remember. And unless you have somebody constantly telemarketing your own customers, which is very expensive, of course.
Of course.
This is a way to not wake them up, but to remind them, hey,
Sure.
I'm out here and I'm your roofer. And so, yeah, it's so much easier because you've already earned their trust. You've already done business with them.
Yeah, and I think one last thing about this is that companies that are reaching out to their past customers have been using systems that kind of worked in the past. But, if you're using, like, say, a newsletter email campaign, which is what a lot of people will do, well, the open rates for email at this point, because people get so much spam and so much junk mail, you're looking at, if you get a 5% response rate or an open rate on an email campaign, that's actually considered pretty good. In this type of system, when we're using SMS, 98% of the people that get an SMS read the SMS. So it's like almost 100% of the people that you're sending the message to are going to see that message and see Armadillo Roofing and Exteriors or whoever you are, so that you're having a fantastic open rate, which creates the response rate of 5 to 10%, and that's what we look for. So. Yeah. It's just flipped the whole thing from nobody opening your emails to everybody opening your text message and getting a response from a percentage of them. So we started this on a Tuesday. How long did it take before we got you some customers?
I guess it was that same morning or that next day at the latest.
That's the other thing that's great about it, is it doesn't. What people tend to do with an SMS system is they respond. Either some of them, of course, will opt out. That's no problem, just as they will in an email campaign. But typically when we do this sort of a campaign, you're looking at, in the first hour, we get responses. And so the day we start it, we can start sending customers your way and getting you back up on roofs to talk to people.
Right. There's no startup time delays of getting things out there and hoping somebody responds. Yeah.
Right.
And as I just watch people in society walking around, they're on their smartphone.
Oh yeah.
90% of the time, and they're looking, perusing Facebook or something. Mm-hmm. But all of a sudden, here comes a text. Who doesn't look at a text that's coming in?
Right.
And when they see, oh, that's Armadillo Roofing, I remember who they are.
Right.
They don't think in terms of spam, and I do. I get some spam text messages like anybody. But the key is that's where people are. They're watching phone, their smartphone, and text messages, unlike emails, is instant, right? They're going to watch it. They're going to look at, hey, who's reaching out to me?
Yeah, absolutely. So one last question. What would you say to someone who's on the fence about doing this sort of a campaign to their customers? What advice would you give them to consider?
Well, first of all, it's the highest ROI of any advertising campaign you can possibly market. That's just, let's face it. What's the response rate? Who are you reaching out to? And when it's a cold customer and you've never met them, they've never heard of you before, you're in the typical competitive challenge to win the business.
Right.
Versus this this is your family. This is your customer base. They do recognize you.
Right.
So first of all, your ROI and your return on responses is amazingly quick and instant. But the likelihood of you securing some more business out of it, of course, is 10 times that of a brand new cold customer.
Right.
So I would say definitely give it a try. And you will see that it'll have instant results. It doesn't have a time to brew in the background. It's
Right.
instant. It's people that know you. It'll be the best campaign you've ever launched, in my opinion. And I've done this for 16 plus years, and this is the only one that has instant results and is with people that know me.
Right, right. All right, Mark. Well, hey, I really appreciate you taking the time to do this interview on a Saturday morning.
You're welcome.
It's
My
been
pleasure,
great working
Dave.
with you, and I'm looking forward to many more years of bringing you new and old customers into your business.
Well, thank you, Dave. And to the folks that are watching this video, like I said, I stopped and worked with marketing gurus for 14 years till I met Dave. And after 2+ years now, I'm extremely satisfied and glad I found him or he found me. Definitely, it's a person of integrity that does what he says he's going to do.
All right. I appreciate it, Mark. Thanks a
My
lot.
pleasure, Dave. Have
All
a
right.
good week.
Okay.